Most pop singers come from English middle class backgrounds. I don't know whether my mum would really think, she'd like to think she was middle class, but I don't know whether she really is.
Middle class in outlook, though?
Well, they were, yeah. I mean, I didn't like either of them. I didn't go for it.
Yeah.
Middle or working or whatever. You're so dragged up in it as a kid that you can't ever really get rid of it.
Paging Mr. Leslie Perrin.
That's
Telephone,
you, mate.
please, Mr. Perrin.
That's nice, isn't it?
That's nice,
Big
isn't
brother.
it?
It's pity they don't have a camera. I think we were just ordinary, rough, nasty people. So it would have been very hard to make us nice. Well, I mean, we just couldn't have done it, so we had to just go along with what they had.
Yeah. But you didn't really try and be nice, did you?
No, didn't really try and be nasty either, you know, just carried on without trying to be a hypocrite. Still do, really. I mean, I don't try and be nice or nasty or just try and be reasonably polite.
Mm. But your own image, Mick Jagger's image...
I don't believe in images, by the way. I mean, I believe in them, but I don't personally try and project any.
Yeah. Well, is it hard trying to live up to this image that people have of Mick Jagger?
No, because I don't try to.
Yeah. At all?
No.
Yeah.
It's only press and media that like to have images because it's useful to put people into categories or project them as images like films. I mean, because like TV is an image projected onto a screen, often behind a screen. So you've got to have something to project on it, i.e. a personality, which is what TV is, like David Frost, right? So you work out what he is and what he is to the audience and sell it like a soap commercial. But I mean, we didn't really like that. So we weren't prepared to go along with that. That's why I don't believe in images. Though, I mean, I can see they exist. But images are reflections and I don't want to be one.
Well, how do you see yourself then?
Oh, that's the most difficult thing of all. I mean, that's what it takes your whole life to find out what you are. But I mean, I don't know.
But you're not this image that people have of Mick Jagger.
I don't know what that is.
Well, it's
a lot of things, you know, to go
Yes.
up to make one person's personality.
Mm.
And so that you can be everything.
Well, it's a sort of sexy, evil, satanic.
You can be nice,
guy.
nasty,
Yeah.
masculine, feminine, you know, all those things. And everyone is all those things.
Well, you've been all these things to young people, and you've had quite a considerable influence on young people in many ways. Did you feel anything about this influence? Were you conscious of having the influence on young people that you did?
No, I wasn't really. That wasn't my thing. I was just to play music, you know. That was my interest. Wasn't setting out to. But then we got all kind of bound up with it all, and like people would ask you what you thought of certain things, like abortion or whatever, you know. So you'd say what you thought about it, which I still do. Which they ask you what you're doing now, really. What you think of this and what you think of that. So then you say, well, you know, I'm not really equipped to answer that question. I will. So then you become noted for saying things.
But your songs, you know, those early songs of yours, I Can't Get No Satisfaction, all those songs, they kind of had a message, didn't they, for young people?
Yeah, well, that was what I felt like, and that's what they felt like, I suppose. Some of them, I mean, not all of them, but that's what popular songs do. You know, and music's the same, because music's a touchstone which is indefinable, and words are more definable. Touchstone.
But do you see yourself in any way in your music as encouraging young people to, you know, use drugs, for example?
No, I never encourage people to use drugs in any song or in any interview. But I mean, you write about whatever you feel best able to write about, whatever you feel like, you know, what you know about it or how you feel. You write just emotionally, really.
Well, the Rolling Stones, and you were the first big pop group, to be busted for drugs in the UK, and it caused quite a lot of consternation and debate as to whether in fact it had been rigged. Looking back, do you think it was?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think you were being used as an example?
Absolutely.
Why do you think this was?
Well, it's rather complicated. It involved a lot of different people, and it just sort of snowballed. Oh, yeah, we were. But that's a long time ago now, so...
If you were to give, advice, you're a parent yourself, to parents today about how they should react to
I'm not very good at
drugs.
giving advice as a parent.
Yeah.
But
what would you say to parents about drugs today?
What would I say to parents about drugs? Learn about them, I suppose, is one of those things. I don't know. Is that a big problem in New Zealand?
Well,
Not
again,
really.
according to media, it's growing.
Well, that's the thing about media. They tend to exaggerate things, don't they? It's like you keep saying, people say, is there going to be trouble at your concert? And the more they say there's going to be trouble, the more likelihood there will be. The more you say trouble, if I say, yeah, there's going to be a lot of trouble, there might be.
Yeah.
And the more people say, yes, there's going to be a big drug problem in New Zealand, the more there will be. I don't see any drug problem here. Don't seem to be. In the audience today, seems to be a lot of very straight, nice, young people, having a good time. They didn't seem to be having any problems. There was no one carted off. There might have been one, I don't know. But, there wasn't like a lot of people who were like doped out of their minds and like, being dragged off by St John's ambulance men or whatever the equivalent. New Zealand St John's ambulance men. They seem to be all very well, so I don't think there's a great big problem here. But if you've got to know about drugs, like you've got to know about anything to deal with it. If your child is a drug addict, you've got to know about drugs to be able to deal with them, because otherwise you're just talking from ignorance. It doesn't apply to your parents, that applies to your friends too.
But do you think people should be able to use drugs if they want to?
Should they be able? That's a very leading question. I refuse to answer that question on grounds it may incriminate me.
Fair enough. Sex is another thing that a lot of people...
Should they be allowed to use sex? Yes. What do you want to say?
Were you going to answer?
What do you want to say specifically?
That you've used, again, being accused of using.
Of using
as
sex?
As a gimmick, yeah.
Oh, using sex, you mean on stage?
On stage.
Oh, everyone's done that. That's a sort of tradition. From before Mae West.
But you even got, you're an exploiter of it rather than,
Oh, I'm not an exploiter.
But
I'm just a singer.
Yeah.
Not a sex exploiter. I don't take my clothes off. I'm not a stripper. You were saying, miss. You were talking about women. You were saying about how nice they are and how they shouldn't be attacked. And
Did I say that?
No, I did actually. No, I said that they should be equal to men, so that means they've got to be attacked as much. But anyway, carry on.
How should they be attacked?
Well, in every way, not physically.
You've attacked them quite a lot in your songs, haven't you?
Yeah.
Including, parents as well, I think, and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah. But women... Well, women cause men a lot of trouble that they don't need. So you have to sort of stand up yourself. And, it makes good for good songs, all that trouble. It's only one of the only good things about women, Apart from, one of the great things about women is that they make you write good songs.
Well,
what would you write about? Holes in your trousers.
Another thing about women is that, has been associated with the Rolling Stones, is this business of groupies.
Groupies, yes.
Yeah. How much of this, in fact, is a product of the media, or is it true that the Rolling Stones...
Well, it's not only the Rolling Stones. It's every band. Groupies means girls that attach themselves to groups. That's part of... That's been going on for longer than you and I have been alive, you know. I mean, these are all nothing new under the sun. I mean, there's big band groupies, you know. There's groupies on every level. There's groupies that go with roadies, you know. There's groupies that go with drivers. No, he's gone. There's groupies that go with security guards. But there's been always groupies, you know. In jazz, it's jazz and all that, you know. Just chicks that hang around with bands because they like it, you know. So they just hang around and like get in it and get involved and you know. That's it.
But the Rolling Stones, there's always been a lot of publicity about the groupie
there?
scene with the Rolling Stones.
Oh, I've not followed it myself. There's been a lot of groupies, you know. But there is with every band, you know. Really, you'd be surprised.
What do you think personally of groupies?
Well, they're usually very. I
your
like
chest,
them,
see
you
what you
know.
like about women.
I mean, I like them, you know. But I mean, they get very abused, you know, because they do put up with an awful lot of. I can't use the word, but they put up with an awful lot of. What do you say? Euphemism for. Excretion. Well, they put up with it, you know,
Yeah.
and so they get kicked around and abused, which isn't very nice. They do get abused, and that is not too nice.
Why do you think they do it?
Do what?
Why do you think they follow bands like you?
I just said that because they like to be involved with what the band's doing, you know. They like to be part of it, you know. They like to be on the road. And if they're not on the road with one band, they'll be on the road with another. And they like it. They like that kind of life, you know, living in hotel rooms and just balling everyone. Can I say that? Is that a word that can be used on TV? That's what they like. They do like sex. I mean, really. I mean, and they like having sex with people that are well known. A lot of people like that. It's not only groupies. You'd be surprised. A lot of people like to think about going to bed with movie stars, you know. So these people just do it.
This is one of the problems of fame.
It's not a problem. But the problem is not to abuse them. Because they're people, you know. And they open to abuse.
Well, what happens to a pop group, to someone like yourself, Mick Jagger, when you get old?
When you get
That's
old,
what-
you're the same as what happens to you, love.
Yeah.
You get old and you wash the dishes.
But as far as being a pop star, do you think you can go on, you know, for...
Well, a lot of people do, yeah. I mean, I didn't want to be a singer for longer than I thought it was just a sort of mild interlude in my collegiate career. But it ain't, so, you know. And a lot of people go on singing like Tony Bennett. I mean, how old is he? I don't know, blimey, you know. I don't really want to be like that. Frank Sinatra, how old is he? I mean, really. Maurice Chevalier, who's no longer with us, I mean, he went on forever. But I don't want to.
But do you think you will anymore?
No,
What would you do?
I don't know. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Fair enough.
Is that the end?